And feel free to let G-Skill and me know what you think in the comment section down below. While I'm on the topic of YouTube feedback, feel free to hit that like button too if you enjoy this video. Back to functions though. Let's start off with the stuff around the edges. It's got USB 2.0 pass-through, which is a feature that I really like on a keyboard, whether it's to daisy chain your mouse to it or to act as a conveniently accessible port for flash drives. There's also an analog mic and headphone pass-through, as well as an option switch to go between N key and 6 key rollover modes, which can be very helpful if you're having trouble getting the keyboard to talk nice with your motherboard, especially in pre-operating system situations like changing settings in your UEFI or BIOS. You of course get full N key rollover and anti-ghosting, which is to be expected for a keyboard that costs as much as this one does. And then moving to the top of the keyboard, there's a set of 6 programmable macro buttons along the left side. Up top there's a dedicated macro record button next to the 3 profile select options, Windows lock, and brightness buttons, and there's a timer button there which will work with G-Skill's software, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. On the right top side there are media controls, which are always nice to have. A volume roller wheel cylinder thing, which I also like having there despite not knowing exactly what to call it, and an LED volume display. These are all great features and you don't always get them with high-end mechanical keyboards. I just wish that the LEDs for the media controls and that volume indicator were RGB as well instead of just solid red. Or just give us the ability to turn them off in the software G-Skill so that they don't clash with our super sweet RGB lighting schemes that we set up. Now I have to give G-Skill a lot of credit for the build quality of the KM780. It's very sturdy thanks in part to the functional and visually appealing reinforced metal pipe that goes all the way around the outside. You can use this to attach the included accessory box. It also holds the foldable cable holder right up here on the top right. That will hold your mouse cable to control the slack in the mouse, which honestly is a simple yet very, very nice feature. I was thinking that also if you had maybe a hook on your wall or something and you like to keep your setup really clean when you're not using it, you could maybe use that wraparound pipe to like hang the keyboard up when you're not using it. Who knows, just a thought. Finally, there's a black brushed aluminum metal top plate. That's the cover that goes between the keys and the actual keyboard. And I prefer this style to the recessed top plate that you see in some keyboards, since it's just way easier to clean and get down in there between the keys. As for accessories, you get a detachable soft touch wrist rest, which is nice and comfy and optional if you don't like the wrist rests. 10 extra gaming keycaps as well, and that will help you find the WASD keys, for example, since they're angled and a little bit more texture on those. You can swap those out, and then you can keep them in this little case when you're not using them. The case also snaps onto the edge of the little pipe around the outside, so you can store it there. If you don't want to keep the keycaps in there, maybe keep something else in there. Snacks. It's always nice to have snacks. Now I believe I've already pointed out that the KM780 has per key RGB backlighting. That's kind of the point of an RGB mechanical switch keyboard, but all the keys are also fully programmable, and G-Skill does provide downloadable software to control all of these functions in their G-Skill Unified Driver System. Let's take a look at the most recent version of this software next. Here's a look at the software, guys. Software is up top. I also have an image of the keyboard down on the bottom. Bear in mind as you're watching this, there's a flicker on the backlighting of the keyboard. That is not apparent when you're looking at it. That's just the recording, because they're recording at a certain frames per second and it's refreshing at certain frames per second, and it leads to a flicker in the recording. Anyway, the software. Up here on the top left, you've got your macros button and your lighting profiles. So consider these two top buttons, the buttons where you go and kind of set up macros the way you want them. You can record macros. You can add them here. You name them, and then they're available via drop down. You can get rid of them with the delete button or with the trash can button, and then you can also copy, import, or export macros as well. You can also do a delay, no delay, record button, and it all appears over there, and it's pretty functional as a lot of macro recording utilities are. You can also do text macros as well, so if you just want to punch a button to type in some text, you can do that too. Moving on to the lighting profiles area, here's where we have access to kind of the special lighting features if you don't just want like standard lighting to be on all the time. You have a wave option, a ripple option, a reactive option, which means as you hit a button it's going to spread out from there, and a breathing option. But bear in mind that as you're over here when you're messing with these and doing them and stuff, it's saving you some software. But then these buttons up here, customize, settings, and lighting, are where you actually go to implement them. So just bear that in mind. So for instance, if we wanted to create a wave setting, we'd hit plus, create wave 2, and then we could go in here and mess around with the colors if we wanted. You can like add other areas to the wave and drag them around with this little guy here, or you know, change the level of brightness and that kind of thing. So it's pretty, I mean, it's pretty functional. You can move stuff around a lot. So like here, let's make a wave that goes from red to white to yellow to green to blue. Wave 2, and after you do everything, it saves it immediately. That's another thing that I think G-Skill could help themselves out with here, is doing something that like says apply or okay or something like that. Anyway, it works the same way with ripples or reactive typing, although reactive typing you only get to choose one color, and then breathing, and you can have it breathe between multiple colors as well. So we've just done that wave thing, so let's go over to lighting. And once we're on any of the lighting setting or customize, you'll see the actual profiles over here on the left side and different modes you can choose. So we're in mode 2, we want to do effect lighting, so we click effect lighting, and then it asks us which of the effects we want to do. So I'm going to choose that wave 2 that I just created and hit OK, and then it should immediately pop up there if I did it right. But maybe I didn't do it right. This is a bug that I have encountered once or twice, and I seem to be able to bypass it by clicking disable lighting and then re-enabling lighting again, and then it pops up. Okay, so as already kind of alluded to, this software, it still seems like it needs a little bit of work from G-Skill, but you can't get it to work. Sorry, there's a little wave function. If you wanted to just individually assign the different keys, you can do that as well. So you can like choose a color down here and just start.
That was close, but it was just annoying. I didn't want to play defensive.